everyone, I'm Meredith, and I can't trust anyone. But I have a good reason for that. Want to know more? My dad was the most special person in my life. He made me homemade milkshakes and taught me how to throw a kick and a punch when I was only 6 years old. He always said that I should know how to take care of myself, and I thought he could do no wrong. Except a day after my 11th birthday, I woke up to Mom crying. What's wrong?
Your dad left.
Like, left to get some milk?
No, he left us, Mare. Look at this note. He'd been stressed for weeks at his job, and I thought he'd be okay, but I guess he wasn't. I tried calling him too, but he left his cell phone at home.
What? Dad can't leave me just like that. He tells me everything. I'm sure there's some mistake. He must be around the corner. And I darted outside the house and started running around the neighborhood, screaming for Dad, but he really wasn't around. Finally, Mom caught up to me and took me home, and I was a crying mess for days. We tried looking for Dad for weeks, but it was like he'd vanished into thin air. I was heartbroken, and since then, I just couldn't trust anyone around me. What made it worse was that Mom started dating soon after, and she had the worst taste in men. This one time, Mom invited her boyfriend over, and he ended up stealing all her jewelry. And another time, she introduced me to this guy who was arrested a week later for robbing a bank. So, yeah, my home life was a mess, but at least I had school. I was a good student who loved writing poetry, and by the time I was 16, I was writing poems for a small publication and also leading the school newspaper. Life was good until this new guy Xander joined my class. At first, he didn't bother me at all and always had this permanent frown plastered on his face. He hardly spoke to anyone in class, and a few times he was rude to the teacher and got sent to detention. Then one day in the gym, I was sitting on the bleachers when this ball came flying out of nowhere and hit me in the head. Ow! Watch it, morons! I could have died!
But you didn't. And you're in a gym class. We're supposed to play here, not sit in a corner and sulk over a notebook. Now give me that ball.
Apologize first.
Bite me.
With that, Xander snatched the ball from my hand and left. I was so mad I charged after him to give him a piece of my mind, but instead, I tripped and fell right into Rod's arms. He was my senior and the captain of the football team. Girls tripped over each other to get a glimpse of Rod's handsome face and athletic body, and looking into his green eyes, I could see why. I'm sorry, I just lost my balance.
And I think I lost my heart. Are you okay?
I'm fine.
Sure about that? You could have a concussion. You know, we've never had a chance to talk, but I think we'll have a pretty good conversation. How about we find that out over dinner?
I don't eat dinner.
Coffee?
Nope.
Water then?
I'm late for class, but thanks for the help. And I just quickly left before Rod saw my knees shaking. I knew most girls would kill for a date with him, but all men were jerks, so I decided to ignore Rod. But boy, Rod was persistent. He would send me flowers in class, leave chocolates and notes in my locker, and one time, he even showed up at my home in a limousine. I was just trying to figure out how to get rid of him when Mom walked into my room.
That boy looks fancy.
Yeah, whatever. I'm not interested. He will break my heart like Dad broke yours, and
You don't know that.
not all men are the same. Now get dressed and go. I reluctantly agreed to go out with Rod, and it wasn't so bad. He was cute and fun, and he took me to this cool pizza place. So I was wondering, you could date anyone. Why me?
'Cause you're smart. I've never dated smart girls before.
Did you just call me a nerd?
No, I called you a pretty nerd.
You're sweet, unlike that rude Xander. He's such a brat. You'd know him, actually. He's on the football team.
Xander has always had temper issues. If I were you, I'd stay away from him. Anyway, let's not spoil our date by talking about him and concentrate on more important things, like me.
Rod reached for my hand, and my stomach felt like it was in knots. We ended up talking some more before Rod dropped me home, and soon after, we started dating. School was twice as fun with Rod around. We'd have lunch together, and Rod would take me to these amazing parties, and things were going well. But then one day, I walked into my class and saw Xander bullying a student. I barged in and pushed Xander off.
What's your problem, weirdo? Just mind your own business.
I will when you stop treating people like trash.
I was just asking some questions about chemistry.
I'm not blind or stupid. Just get away from this poor guy, or
Or what? You'll hit me, princess?
Xander inched closer, and I could feel his breath on my face. I wanted to move, but I just felt numb, and seconds later the teacher walked in, and we all went back to our seats. I tried to ignore Xander after that, but I guess luck wasn't on my side, because a week later, I was picking up a cake for Mom's birthday at the local cafe when someone tapped on my shoulder.
May I take your order, You! I don't remember the last time I turned around and didn't see your face.
I don't like looking at your face either.
It doesn't look like that. In fact, it looks like you're stalking me.
Excuse me, but before I could get another word out, my stomach made a loud rumbling noise. Xander's face softened and he smiled.
Looks like someone's starving.
I'm fine.
Just come with me. You can be angry while you eat.
I wanted to say no, but my stomach made another really loud sound. Xander took me to the back kitchen and quickly fixed me a sandwich. As I gulped it down, a cat crawled in and Xander filled a bowl of milk for it. I watched him play with the cat and he looked so calm and peaceful and really cute.
If you keep staring like that, I'll get uncomfortable.
Thank you. You're good. I mean, the sandwich is good.
It's my specialty. My mom taught me. And you're staring again.
Sorry, I was just wondering. You're rude to teachers. You barely have friends and you pretend like you're mean, but you're actually soft. You're nothing like I imagined.
You're nothing like I imagined either. Meredith, why are you with Rod?
What do you mean?
I mean, he's not what he looks like. I know it's not my place, but I don't think he's right for you.
You're right. It's not your place. And why should I listen to you? You're literally the biggest bully in school. Just because you fixed me a sandwich doesn't mean you get to comment on my personal life.
You're taking this the wrong way.
I guess I was taking it the wrong way. But now everything is clear. Thanks for the sandwich and bye-bye. And with that, I just picked up my cake at the counter and left. But I couldn't stop thinking about what Xander had said. What did he mean that Rod wasn't what he looked like? I wanted to talk to Rod about it the next day in school, but he was absent. I tried calling him, but his phone wasn't reachable, so I decided to go to his place. I was at the gate when suddenly I saw Rod screaming at some woman.
What do you mean you can't do the job anymore? Tell Xander that I still have the video proof, and I will send him to jail if he doesn't get me what I asked for.
But he's already done so much for you. Please, sir, we are poor and vulnerable, but you're rich and kind. Please understand.
Don't touch me, you filthy woman! And just tell your son that if he doesn't deliver the papers by tonight, I will show the video to my dad and have him arrested.
Rod pushed the poor woman away and she fell on the ground while he simply smirked and left. I rushed to help her up, but before I could ask her anything, she started wailing and ran away. What was happening? Xander's mom knew Rod, and from what I heard, Rod had some video he was using to blackmail Xander. What was this video? And what papers was Xander delivering? I wanted to get to the root of everything, so I waited all evening outside Xander's cafe where he worked and then followed him. To my surprise, he parked his bike outside Rod's house, slowly making his way to a slanted door on the ground. Xander opened the lid of the door and jumped in. I left my bike behind as I made my way to the same basement door and saw Xander throw a huge envelope on Rod's face.
These are all the exam papers you wanted. We're done. And one more thing, if you ever touch my mom again, I swear I will bury you alive.
Don't be so mad, pretty boy. Also, we're far from done. You still have to write me that essay for my college application. Make sure it's perfect, or you know what I can do, don't you?
I've already done everything I can, Rod. Just quit torturing me.
It's nothing to what you'll go through in jail. All I need to do is make one phone call and tell the police how you stole from my dad.
Rod smirked at Xander in the most evil way before moving closer and spitting in his face. Xander lost it and hit Rod, and the two of them got into a huge fight. I wanted to do something, but before I could, the basement door I was leaning on broke and I dropped to the floor. Thankfully, it wasn't too high, or I would have ended up breaking my bones. Both Xander and Rod looked at me in shock as I got up.
Meredith! Oh my god, are you okay?
I'm fine.
Step away from her, she's my girlfriend!
What are you going to do, spit in my face again?
You bet I will.
Rod tried hitting Xander again, but this time I got in the way and pushed him away. Don't hurt him!
Why are you so worried about this worm? You like him, don't you? I dated you even though you're way beneath me. You should be thanking me, but instead you're choosing him?
I'm not choosing anyone, but I do know now that I don't want to be with a psychopath like you. Rod turned to me with crazy eyes, and I thought he was about to hit me when suddenly his dad barged in. He must have heard the noise when the door crashed.
What is this mess? Xander, what are you doing here? Dad, Xander is a thief! Remember you lost your favorite watch? It was Xander who took that. See, I have proof. Everything was caught on camera.
Rod's dad looked at Xander in shock as Rod showed him the whole video, and then Xander explained the whole story. Apparently, his mom worked with Rod's family as a housekeeper, and he and his little sister grew up with Rod's family.
Last year, my sister was diagnosed with a lung condition. We really needed a lot of money for the treatment, but Mom didn't have any. So one day, while the whole family was away, I broke in, stole one of your watches, and sold it to pay for my sister's treatment. I thought I'd somehow collect the money and replace the watch eventually, but Rod found out, and since then he's been blackmailing me to cheat on his college applications. He told me that you'd cut him off if he didn't get into a good college, sir. I didn't want to go to jail, so I did what he said. But Rod's demands never stopped. I'm so sorry.
Xander broke down in tears, and I felt so bad for him. Thankfully, Rod's dad understood and forgave Xander and said he wouldn't press charges. Rod lost his mind and started throwing things like a maniac, but his dad called in security and they dragged Rod away. Xander escorted me outside and called me a cab. We were waiting when he finally spoke.
Meredith, I've never said this before because you were with Rod, but I really like you. I always have.
You're a good guy, Xander, but I can't be with someone I can't trust. You should have just told Rod's dad the truth.
I know, I was a coward, but I felt I didn't have a choice.
You always have a choice. You had the choice of being honest.
Meredith,
I want to go. Saying that, I slid into the cab and left, leaving Xander alone. I didn't hear from Rod again, but Xander tried calling me a million times, and I ignored him. I didn't even want to go to school and felt totally lost. I guess Mom saw that because one night she walked into my room and asked me what happened, and I ended up spilling everything. I loved your father, and I know you did too. He suffered some hard knocks and didn't deal well with it, and it hurt us, but that doesn't mean everyone else will be the same. Well, Rod turned out to be crazy, and what if Xander is dishonest again? Look, he shouldn't have stolen from Rod's dad, but he did it for his family, not out of some greed, and that says something about him. Go talk to him, Meredith. I hugged Mom and rushed to the cafe Xander worked at, but he wasn't around. Luckily, the manager recognized me from before and handed me Xander's address. I went to his place and knocked, and seconds later, a cute little girl answered the door. Hey, is Xander around? Nope, but you can wait. You're Meredith, right? How did you know? Xander told me you were the prettiest girl he'd ever seen, and you are pretty.
I didn't say that. I said she's pretty, but she's the smartest girl I know.
I turned around and saw Xander behind me. He signaled his sister to leave, and then it was just him and I.
So what brings you here? I thought you didn't want to see me.
Xander, all my life I've hated my dad for breaking my trust. It's really difficult for me to open up to people. And dating someone like Rod, who turned out to be a complete psycho, messed up my mind, and I just needed some time to figure out my feelings.
And have you figured them out?
Kind of, but I need you to promise that you won't lie about anything to me.
I promise. Now can I ask you out on a date?
Depends on how well you kiss.
Let's find out.
Fireflies, a million little pieces, feeds the dying light, and brings me back to life.